All right. Well, let me get us kicked off. Really excited to be here tonight. Even though we're 1 week later than usual, it's great to have everyone together. As a reminder, we always like to show this screen up front because our purpose is not to make loans, even though we're private lenders and that's what we do. Our purpose is to help you all achieve financial freedom and security, and we're really passionate about that. So we love hearing your success stories. This is going to look better if I put it in present mode. How about that?
There you go.
All right. Why we meet. It's always important, right? Because we could just come together on these Monday nights, cover a few things, but we want to make sure that everyone remembers connecting with community is important. The way you find deals, the way you find contractors, the way you learn things, pitfalls, whatever, very often can come through your network. And having a network of high quality people that are in your industry is one of the very best things you can do to grow your business. And the next, learning skills. If you've been in this very long, you know it's very true that what you don't know can hurt you. Just heard it said a couple of weeks ago at an event that I spoke at. If you learn something, you're probably going to pay for it one way or another. You're either going to pay up front to learn from somebody who's been there, or you're going to pay when you do the wrong thing and lose money in your deal. So we like to share it here in a actually free environment where we can share knowledge and pitfalls. And then finally, sustaining success. So we want to make sure people know that doing that, it's not a hit or miss thing. We're all about follow a good process and get good results. So again, I'm here to help with that. Our agenda, that's the same that we've had for a few months because we've been going through the 6 steps to 6-figure rehab profits. So this welcome and introduction is just a few moments. And then the heart of it, we're going to get into our tool and our topic for this month, which is making sure that you pay yourself every month in this. You make sure you're looking ahead to project that you have income for every month. And then we have just a few minutes to wrap up at the end. Before we jump into that, if anyone is new here, and I know a few people are from when we were getting set up, we want to make sure that you're aware that from our previous calls, all the tools and recordings are available on our Inner Circle webpage. We're going to have a link for you to be able to get there. Again, they're free, they're organized in order a month. Everything that you need is right there. For any of the tools that you've missed out on in the past, because each one of them can work on its own, but they really work best when you put them all together to get really good results. Also, all of that sharing of information back and forth, helping each other out, sharing pitfalls. It happens in here, but it also can happen on our Facebook group if you guys are over there engaging. I know Julia will drop comments in there occasionally, but I don't think there's a ton of interaction in there right now. But just know that group is not open to everyone. When there's a request that comes in, Julia processes that just to work hard to keep this a quality group. You can ask Tanner. In fact, she didn't even let Tanner in at first, so she's very protective.
Yes, highly selective group, elite.
Group. So just a reminder of the value in being able to connect with one another on that group. All right. We'd love to reaffirm this slide as well when we're talking about this 6 steps to 6 figures. Plan and a process is needed to hit that 6-figure income. A plan is a reminder of where you're going. The process tells you the step to get there. You need both of them. You need to know where you're going and how to get there. So those two combined are things that we help you do here. A team of key players. So in this business, it takes appraisers, it takes long-term lenders, it takes short-term lenders like us, it takes wholesalers to find deals, it takes contractors to fix deals, it takes title companies, right? It takes insurance agents, all these things. So having your team put together is critical, and you have to be the leader of that team. And so we also play a role in helping you put that team together because we've been working hard to build what we call our pro team with people that have been vetted in each of those areas and more. So you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself by a team of professional people, because to make six figures by yourself, it's probably going to be much more work than you want to do. It's doable, but probably not going to live the lifestyle you want to live there. Finally, the idea and the mindset of being the CEO of your business. You have to take care of the business side of real estate investing, which sometimes we call the back office. You can't just be the contractor and consistently make six figures at this, and again, maintain a life. So this is our kind of our heads up page here. All right, accountability update. Tanner, I know you've got that going for us here, so I'll let you jump in. You just tell me when you're ready for me to advance the slide.
Yeah, hey everyone. Tanner, for those of you who don't know me, the ops manager here at REI Funding Partners. This is an accountability update for a company that Parker and I co-own. That is a real estate investing company. We got a portfolio and things were going great until they weren't. We got hit with a big tax bill and we did an analysis. We had to make some corrections. We've spoken in previous calls about how that kind of went, but I want to give you an overview of a few of our properties and how the 6 steps really falls into that. So go ahead to the next slide, Ray. So here you've got a nice fancy table, okay? Reading this real quick, you've got the 6 steps over there to the left. And then above it is each individual project. Each one of those is a single family home, and they're kind of ordered in a way to tell the story of our portfolio and some of the lessons we learned. So the first project there, it's called Column Street. And we did some things well. I mean, we did marketing well this whole time. In fact, that kind of became our issues. We were getting so many deals and we were taking them on, but we didn't necessarily have the rest of the steps in line to manage the increase in growth to our portfolio. But we didn't make the same mistakes on every single one. So with Column Street, this was a big old house that we got on and we weren't sure exactly what we were going to do with it. So we failed in the analysis step and the exit strategy step because since it was a larger house, it could have been a long-term rental, but we weren't sure if it was going to cover the note. So it could have also been an Airbnb. Since we didn't have that clarity early on in the project, we overspent. The project was managed well. The timeline was short, but we just put more money into furniture and things like that, where we didn't have a lot of experience. As a result, we kind of drew down our cash position. So although the property is cash flowing well from month to month, the amount of capital we required up front just drained our reserve accounts and put us into a position where we didn't feel totally comfortable. We wanted to recoup. So the next 2 deals, 44th Street and Greensboro, were actually active projects that came just at the tail end of Column Street. So these were 2 small single-family homes that we intended to burr and to rent out. However, we didn't analyze them properly, and our exit strategy changed in the middle of them because of Column Street. So we were renovating to a burr standard and not to a flip standard. And so we had to pivot mid-project so these things would sell. Now, 44th Street, we did project manage well, and we ended up selling it. And we did make some profit, but not nearly as good as if we'd been clear on the front end. Greensboro, not the same case, in a little worse location, and we pivoted. It didn't sell very quickly, and we did earn a little bit of money, but not enough to get a green check mark in our eyes. Lastly, we had a previous rental. So Sunnyland was actually bought before the previous 3. However, it was impacted by some of Column Street's overspend and then that big old tax bill. We had to recoup some funds so that we continued to grow. So Sunnyland, actually, we did well. We didn't follow the steps perfectly, but we kind of stumbled our way into it and we benefited from the market as well. So although we did a lot of these things good, it was our lowest returning property. So we ended up making the decision to sell it off to recoup funds. So that was a lot. I live in this, you guys don't, so maybe you won't retain it all. But the key point is these 6 steps are critical, and most of them happen before you ever even get the property. Making poor decisions or not looking at all the information you need to look at early on can have some serious impacts to not just that project, but to your portfolio. And it can take 6 months, 7 months, a year to get out from under it. So we learned here we need to analyze better. We need to be clear on our exit strategies so we can continue growing and we don't have to sell off other properties and keep our portfolio going.
Yeah. And yeah, really, really well said, Tanner. Just to reiterate, so prior to these 4 deals, our whole strategy was we have a website, leads come in, and our whole we were only looking at one KPI, one metric, and that was, hey, can we pull most of or all of our money out on the refinance? If that's a yes, we're doing the deal. Like it just, so we were running and gunning, not looking at how it would perform well, on the long-term loan, DCR, whatever. So when we actually it's probably one of the better assets in our portfolio. It's a duplex off of Pump House Road in Vestavia Hills, Alabama. Bought it, did it. It was great. In October of 2022, it comes a property tax bill. Property tax bill for that house was literally like $10,500. And I'm like, whoa, like I clearly missed something. And so that sparked this whole, ripple effect that caused these 4 deals to basically pivot because we were not looking at anything. And to go back to what Tanner said, like if we had followed all of these 6 steps and known about them before we closed any of these deals and had our plan and our process in order, we could have been super profitable and there would have been green check marks on all 4 of these and probably wouldn't even have had to sell Sunnyland. Like we know how much wealth is generated long term from holding properties. Like we didn't want to sell Sunnyland, but we had to for keeping a healthy reserves account, replenishing some accounts. And so again, how important these processes are, and hindsight's 2020, but I mean, we could have been very well off. We just, stuck to a process and knew these steps and had a plan.
Well said, guys. And thanks for that visual, Tanner. That helps a ton.
Does anybody have any questions for these two?
Yeah, I have a question, man. So about the tax bill, when you looking at a deal like from the get-go, is the tax bill, is it similar to what the last owner paid, or did they reassess it and give you like a totally new number that you guys were unaware of?
That's a great question. I looked at it and you're right. Like to my knowledge, the county reassesses every single 4 years. And then basically that may change if you do improvements within those 4 years. But basically we had a kind of a rough understanding, but didn't since that was a hold, Ken, knowing that Vestavia and Mountain Brook have higher property taxes, there was just an idea in my brain that it was going to be like 4,500 because I think I went back to the HUD and saw maybe it was prorated, but then it got assessed for more. Like on the website, it was 7,500. Then it came in at 10,500 because of the improvements. But it wouldn't have played a factor at all if we had planned to flip it. But we just didn't even account for it for holding, which is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, man. I see how that kid sneak up on it because I never thought about it either. Just look.
And to that point too, that's great. Look, we're not out here buying Vestavia and Mountain Brook rental homes, you know? And so like we're used to Hueytown. We're used to Tuscaloosa, where you go, okay, hey, like $1,200 a year for taxes. And then you just have that in your mind, not analyzing things properly. And then you get hit with something 10 times it because of, the area. And yeah, rookie move.
But now what you got, Parker, that's going to make sure that don't happen again?
A plan, 6 steps,
And
analyze, step 2.
and the analyzer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because on that Burr analyzer, it's got insurance and taxes right there to factor it in. You're right. I mean, it's hard if you don't have a tool like that. It's easy to let you get 9 out of 10 of the things right. You found the house in the right area. You got the right deal on it. You're doing all these things, and then that one thing, but it's a big thing.
And that point too, just to reiterate one more time, like Ken, like I was saying, okay, hey, there's an idea that it might be this number.
Right.
Well, that's dumb. Like you need to know, right? Like plan, know for a fact instead of just, diving
like
in.
any type of formula or something that you can like predict what the taxes will be?
Well, it's like honestly, you could just go on the county website, and they should have an estimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
But also
they
title companies are going to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it may have jumped up on Parker, but from the renovations that they did, and just with kind of at the time frame of it too, when inflation was going up, but he could have probably been a lot closer in the ballpark. But I get what you're saying, Ken. Like most of them are not that big of a difference.
Yeah. But Vestavia.
Yep.
Yeah, Vestavia is bad. One of the highest in the state. But a lot of this goes to show that we focused a lot on kind of the front side of things, the sexy side of real estate, the marketing and the project management, and then the cash flow of really just trying to get these deals and churn and burn, just like you hear on Bigger Pockets all day. But the thing we did kind of neglect is all the invisible stuff, the back office type activities that really are the things that make you successful. And that's part of why Ray mentioned earlier, our back office program that's coming out, we're really excited about, because we get to really shine a light and help people with these things that actually make you successful and don't just make it onto your Instagram feeds.
Yep.
Well said. All right. Well, that's a great update, you guys. Thanks so much. And I know anybody watching this now or in the future can learn from the mistakes that were made here and buy their properties better and not hit the same pitfalls, just like you guys have. All right. So we are finishing up our 6-figure rehab system. And so step 6 is tonight, and that's called Plan Your Cash Flow for 6-figure income each month. And as we've done in previous months, we include a tool to help with that. And for this month, it's called the 6-figure cash flow predictor. All right. Before I go to that, I want to share kind of quickly how this came about. So some of you may know that I've done, I don't do it anymore, but I've done a lot of business coaching for real estate investors and private lenders. Julie has done a lot of that as well. And so when you do that for a long time, you start kind of understanding problems that people have in real estate. And for me as a problem solver, one of the way it shows up is in the creation of different tools to help. And so I was in a conversation with a guy just a few months ago, and he was telling me that one of his biggest problem is he's like, I do a deal, and he's like a new construction guy. So he'll do one like a spec house and sell it. And he works on another one and sells it. But he was in his early 50s, and he said, man, I've got to get this dialed in and get it right, because I don't have a lot of chances for do-overs anymore. He said, I've got to get paid at this every month. And so I just started saying, well, hey, if you do this, if you kind of look at your calendar all these months out and start looking at when these projects are going to finish up. And so I got finished with that conversation with him, and I realized that's a tool I need to create because he's probably not going to go out there and do that on his own. So just hearing, that challenge and knowing that as soon as I heard him say it, it's like, man, I know I've heard other people say that before. Just never it really didn't strike me in a way before to see a clear answer to it. But that's the background behind how this tool came to be. And I think you guys are going to really love it. This is a quick snapshot of it. Let me swap over the view to this sheet. And I will give my spreadsheet disclaimer, as I always do. I know not everybody loves spreadsheets, but I intentionally make these really simple so that even if you're not a spreadsheet person, you can plug in a few numbers and get the benefit of the sheet. All right, I just zoomed in on it. Is that big enough to see?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, fantastic. So as you're looking at this tool, what you'll see on the left side over here is a list of properties that you might be working on, different stages of rehab over here. And then across the top, it's just the months for the year. And then you can see there's a chance for a place for your quarterly numbers to add up. Down at the bottom, you got your total income for each month that shows up at the bottom. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit before I jump into how to use it. So that's kind of how to read it. You come down to the bottom. So for example, this cell I'm clicking on right here, it's got 31,000 in it. It shows 31,000 income for the month of August. So here's how you use this thing. And really, actually, before I say the how, let me reiterate the why. We work really hard in the six-figure the six-figure income system and all these steps to help make sure that you're marketing for deals and you got good deal flow, that you analyze them to make sure that you have a good profit margin, that you're clear on your exit strategy, that you're doing really good project management, that you're running your monthly budget to make sure that everything's lining up. But then this step number 6 is saying, look, I want to make sure that I get paid every month at this. And I've got deals coming in at different times. I got deals cashing out at different times. How do I make sense of all that? So that's why this is called the cash flow predictor, because when you come into a deal, and especially if you're doing one with us, one of the things that Tanner's going to work with you on as you're doing your rehab budget, he's going to ask you how many weeks for this project, how many weeks should this take to get the rehab complete? And then from there, you can look at what's your time to sell after it hits the market. So using that information, you're going to project out into the future. Hey, I'm taking in this project here in September. When should it sell? So it's not perfect, and we've got a solution for that built in here as well. But a lot of tools are not perfect, especially when it's a prediction. But if you don't predict at all, you don't have anything to go off of. The more you use a tool like this, and the better you do at your project management, which we help people with as well, the more accurate this is going to be, because we help you with the deal analysis tool to get your profits dialed in. But also, as you're looking at when the project should finish up, that'll help too. So how to use this: you plug in your targets from each deal into the cell for the month you expect it to pay off. So when I was doing this one, for an example, I said, what if somebody starts using this kind of in the middle of a year? So on 123 Main Street, I said, okay, let's say that one's projected to close out in August. And when you ran the deal analysis sheet on it, you came up with an estimated planned profit of 31,000. Then I went down to Easy Street and I plugged it in over here. And this one, by the way, in the examples that we've done, it had a $30,000 minimum profit. So that's kind of what you see reflected in these numbers, 30K or above. So we plug in the next one, when should Easy Street cash out? November. Cash flow drive projected to close out in September, and so forth as we go down here. Now, what you'll see is the 31,000 shows up down here for the month of August. You're always wanting to do this step number 2 down here, check the total income for the month and make sure it meets your minimum requirement. So last month when we did the budget tool for 6-figure income, on the example that we did there, to be able to pay yourself a 6-figure income, kind of that $30,000 mark worked pretty good to be able to pay yourself a 6-figure income and pay the other expenses of running a business. So August looks pretty good here. You got that income. September looks pretty good, 34,000. But then we get over here to October, and there's not any income set for that month. So there's a couple of things we can do. In step 3 down here at the bottom, you see if you have month with no cash flow, or it could be low cash flow predicted, first work to fill that in with this other periodic income down here. So October, there's not any income showing up. What can we do that month to help? And right, we're thinking about this ahead. This would be something that we're looking at. Let's just say we're looking at this in July and we're looking out to October and we're like, I don't have anything that's closing out that month. I need to be thinking ahead. So as that month gets closer, if you are direct marketing to people and you're getting your own deals, that could be a good month to wholesale. If you're seeing some deals and you're coming across some that just need more minor rehab, and instead of doing the entire flip, you do a wholesale flip. If you're not familiar with that, that means you just kind of clean it up really good. You do a few basic things and you put it back out there for a quick, almost a wholesale profit, but you're able to mark it up enough that an owner occupant would buy it and kind of get it at a discount. So that's another thing you could fill in. And then I left you guys a couple of blanks down here with kind of, for your business to fill in the question, what's some ways that you can earn one-time income to help in a slow month like that? So it's really powerful when you start a sentence with, how can I, or how can we? There are ways that you can generate income. Some people in this business will do jobs for other people. They might go over and build a deck for someone, or just kind of do some side work to add a little extra income. So that's different for everyone. That's why I didn't have more filled in here. But hopefully you guys can see, if you got a gap, you need to fill it in. This is one way to do it with some other one-time periodic income. The other way is down here in step number 4. If necessary, then you just have to use a portion of your reserves in a blank month or a low month, but then you build it back up ASAP. So in this example, this next deal, Profit Circle, that's going to get completed. It's going to sell. It might happen a month later instead of hitting in October when you really wanted it to. It hits over here in November. And so you can see $66,000 of income in November. But what do you do with that? First thing you do, you restock the reserves that you pulled out in October, and then you're able to move ahead. So again, really work to make this thing simple to use, but it is so powerful. Tools don't have to be complex to be powerful. This one's simple. It keeps you looking ahead. It forces you to think about how long your project should take, and then you park it in the right month, and then you begin to get visibility. Hey, are we setting ourselves up to get paid every month at this? A couple of notes to go along with this, and it kind of describes how all of these steps work together. In the marketing step number 1 of the 6 steps, here's how it feeds in. Having the deals that you need to close and to keep this calendar filled in, that's an important piece of it, to make sure that you got the deals coming in the front end. so that they're cashing out in the months that you need. Also within that tool, that's the one where people calculate how much profit they want to have per deal. So that's very important as well. The other one in the middle here is step number 4, the project management step. And it feeds in because that is the one that helps you finish your projects up on time. If you plan on it to be done in 3 months and it takes 6 months, you can see that's going to completely throw off your schedule here. And so using that project management step, the tools that we provide, really keeping your project on time and on budget is going to help this step work out much better. And then finally, the one that we did last month, step number 5, the cash flow management step. That's the one that helps you stay focused on having enough reserves in place. In fact, part of the tool that we provided there said, hey, if I've got multiple deals going on, how much do I need to have for each one of those? And then what is the total amount of reserves that I need to have in place? So when you put them all together, you're looking at the right profit margin, you're keeping good deals coming in the pipeline, you're looking ahead to see when they should cash out to make sure that you're going to get paid. And then finally, it's kind of nice over here, as you look at these quarterlies to see how much is coming in for the year. So that is our tool. While we're looking at this, before we go ahead with any other slides, I want to open it up to comments, questions, thoughts about using this tool.
I think it's pretty good. I know Ken and Benny, like you guys have made a kind of a shift a little bit to start flipping a little bit more. Is that right? Like,
yes.
Once things started slowing down with the wholesale, we wanted to go for flips to fill in some of that income and get bigger profits or whatnot, because our average wholesale used to be like around 21, 22, around like 15, 20,000. And now some days you look, you get 8,000 profit from a wholesale.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just think like it's like this lines up just because I know you guys a little bit more than maybe some others on the call, but this just lines up perfectly, like because it's all about adapting, right? The market is gonna dictate the best course of action. So up until what 6 months, a year ago, wholesaling was boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
All you guys are doing are just adapting to be more profitable, and so it's like something like this can really help you out because like obviously you're still going to wholesale some deals if it makes sense, but coupling that with flips and managing your cash flow and managing your profit schedule. So I think this could line up good for you guys.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, Benny's a numbers guy. I bet this speaks your language, right?
Most definitely. I'm curious about this hotel flip in 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, have you heard of that strategy before?
Yeah. So are you speaking of like a novation more so?
I think that's I think those are like same terminology.
Okay. Yeah, because I had a misunderstanding. I was thinking that you would take it for a hotel, you would take title on it and then turn around and sell it, but that'll put you in that 90-day rule, I guess, factor kick in on some of the profits. I think it has to be up on a certain threshold within 90 days.
Yeah. I guess if you bought a FHA house, I don't think that's across the board.
Yeah, just FHAs.
Yeah.
But that's the majority of the buyer pool, though, is if you're looking in certain markets.
Yep.
On retail deals.
Yep, you're right. So yeah, I mean, I would love to hear maybe.
I think I think a lot of banks will require 2 appraisals when you flip a property within 90 days.
Yeah,
I saw that too, but we had one. We had to wait the full 90, and we Tonka, but
we had to do that and get 2 appraisals.
Yeah.
But it worked out in the end. So
I don't know if it was just that lender or is that just across the board.
That's the thing. It can change. I know back in the day we flipped one pretty quickly, and they needed us to like send the whole repair list of everything that we did to satisfy that underwriter. So thankfully we had all of that. What else? Is there anything else that comes to mind for anybody on the call that would be some kind of periodic income that could help kind of on short notice like that? If you see a low month or a blank month on the calendar.
It could be partnering with someone to do a deal.
Yeah.
I kind of see that. I've learned more and more just from being exposed to groups like this and, somewhat in my investing journey. It's just like the more people you can partner with that obviously that like share your values and you trust and you get along, but just more opportunities come. And that could be anything. Flip a wholesale something. Yeah.
I definitely would like to say while I'm on the call, me and Ken do have an opportunity. So if someone looking for something, they don't have any deals in the pipeline, guaranteed. I don't say guarantee. I hate using that word because I like to use that word, but I'm just that confident in what we do and how we, visualize things. We make money, whether somebody believe in it or not. We had a deal. I was telling a realtor probably earlier today. We made 25,000. Well, we gave it to another partner of ours, and he made 25,000, but he couldn't see the vision. And so I was like, everybody don't see your vision or that risk. I guess we'll take that risk with you.
Well, I know Parker's bought a wholesale from you guys before, and
that's right,
and that worked out well. So yeah, definitely
get deals that make sense. Where someone can make some money on it.
Yeah, we got one on the table right now. So anybody interested, just let us know.
Hey, drop your.
Yeah, what's the best? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the Facebook page is out there, but maybe you guys could drop an email in the chat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People to reach out. So, well, I hope that you guys will use this tool, and not just you guys, but like everybody on the call and people watching this recording later. If you're just wholesaling, you don't really need this because wholesaling, the cycle of it is so short. But when you're working on stuff that the day you buy it, it may be 6 to 9 months before you get paid for it. Using a tool like this is really important. And so, Ken and Benny, since you guys did a lot of wholesales and you're kind of shifting over to this, I hope this is landing at the right time for you guys, because the more you're kind of thinking ahead about the end of the project and when that's going to cash out, the better that's going to be. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to see is everybody getting paid every month and getting paid well. Because we know there's a lot of hardworking people on this call. All right, let me jump back over to the slideshow. And that tool will be available to download on the site along with the recording of this call in a couple of days. All right, here's some thoughts. The team had been thinking about, what do we want to do looking ahead? We've been on this one for 6 months. So we've kind of had our topics planned out for a while. Some of the things that we came up with that we could dive into in future months, BRRRR strategy and analysis, do a case study there. We have a BRRRR tool. We mentioned that earlier, BRRRR calculator tool that it's not just about buying the house, but it's also about looking ahead to the financing that you're going to get for your long-term rental financing. You can plug in your interest rate, your amortization years, all of it's in there. It'll give you your payment right there in the tool. It'll show you the cash flow that you can expect. It has it built in there for you to put in your property management cost and your maintenance cost. So it's really trying to get you down to your true cash flow on that, not the gross cash flow that sounds really good to people, but doesn't pay the bills if it's not the true cash flow. So we could take a look at that and do a case study. Then the 6 steps to 6 figures. We looked at kind of an overall portfolio case study with Tanner earlier for his and Parker's, but again, these steps are really built for the fix and flip model. So not all of them apply exactly. So looking at a case study for all 6 of these could be a good topic. We're definitely coming in the future with, so when people achieve good consistency at this 6 steps to 6-figure income for flips, that's more of an active income, but it can get you to a good income level from there. When you're doing that consistently month in, month out, for most people, the reason they got into real estate investing in the first place was for passive income, but they got to take care of their active income first. Once that's done, how do you focus in on the passive? So having steps to 6-figure passive income is definitely going to be a topic coming up soon. It'll be another multi-part like this one. I don't know if it'll be 6 steps to 6-figure passive yet or not. We're still working out the exact details of what that looks like, but it'll be clear steps to the passive income. And then how the REI back office works will be a future topic to explain that and what that looks like. So that's what we've got kind of on tap for future months. We're looking out ahead to make sure that we have good content for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so here we just wanted to take a few minutes and put this question out on the table. How can we help? What's an issue that people are getting stuck with? We can either help right here on the spot, or if it's something that we need to research, build a tool for, or whatever, you guys know we'll be on top of that. So what kind of things are going on out there that are causing people to get stuck?
I don't know if Trey's picked up his daughter yet, but Trey, what are you having trouble finding deals? What are you having trouble with? Oh, there he is.
Hey, just got home. So the trouble is always finding deals, always, catching the fish. But I haven't been looking as hard in the past 8 months that I have in the past, just because of interest rates. But I've kind of changed my mindset of just being a straight buy and hold to more of a flip. So looking at, different deals and putting them in different lenses. It's kind of like my goal for like the next 6 months, not just looking through a BRRRR lens, looking through a flip or like this hotel deal thing that Ray just brought up. That'd be kind of cool to look at. So just looking at different deals through different lenses, I think
that's a great point. Because I like what me and Tanner talked about. Like I was so like hardcore set my ways, like BRRRR, long-term wealth generated, blah, 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 blah. And then like getting into issues, doing deals that were not BRRRR deals, like causes issues. And I just went through that mindset shift 6 months ago. And it's kind of hard. Like it really is. But like what Ken and Benny are doing is just pivoting. That's all it is. Storing away capital, because I do think the deals, like the interest rates, you would have thought that they would affect prices by now. They haven't. And from what I've heard from all the economists is, especially in the state of Alabama, like we still have a strong demand and not enough supply. So these prices haven't been reflective of the interest rates yet. So we still got some time to go before that happens.
Yeah. So, question, man, are you guys still like even actively looking for bird deals right now with the interest rates, or any of them penciling out?
I wouldn't say actively looking for them, but like we'll still like I would still love to do a bird. I just haven't found one that makes sense that pencils out. But also to that point, like I haven't looked at a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Parker, too, that we've closed recently. Lisa said she was going to burr hers. Sarah, the
Yeah.
one closing today, she was planning to burr that one. So they're still out there. It is a little harder because of the refi side, but um, you know that's one of the things about using an analysis tool, because as you're looking at the numbers, if it's not working at the first number you put out there, right? Because a lot of people think burr of, okay, well, I need to go pull out 80% loan on it. Well, that at today's interest rates, that might have it over leveraged. So you might need to drop back and just plug 75 into that calculator and see how it looks. And if that's not good enough, you plug in 70% LTV. If that's not good enough, you plug in 60, and you get to a point where it starts to make sense. And then from there, you got to go back and you got to hammer the seller. If the house needs that much repairs and that's all it's worth, you take it back and you take it off the front end of the deal. So they're there. It's just the tighter you can run the numbers, the better you feel about it on the front end. That if you're trying to make it a burr, it's truly going to be one.
Yeah. And so, problem that I've been, kind of having in my mind before even looking at a bird deal is like just refinancing right now. And like, I feel like we'll get some type of crazy rate. Like, we not at the top tier credit level, as far as like score. So right now I looked on Kiavi, they offer like 9% interest rate, stuff like that. So that kind of shied me away from it.
Yeah, it definitely makes that payment higher. I will say this though, it came to me when we were talking about burrs recently in a presentation. Generally you're not buying burrs for cash flow. There's certain things and strategies that we use that are good at cash flow, but burrs not really so much. Burrs are about the fact that you can leave little to no money in, build your portfolio up faster, and it may not be kicking off a lot of cash flow in the first few years, but it's paying down and somebody else is buying that portfolio for you, meaning the renters in there are buying it. So that's important to keep in mind too, because I know we all would like to have better cash flow with the rentals, but if you're realistically not putting anything into it up front, probably in today's market, you can't expect a lot of positive cash flow out of it. You do want to make sure it's positive, true cash flow, but not expecting a lot of cash flow like maybe some of these did back in the day of the 3% and 4% interest rates.
Yep.
So like if it on the cash flow, like true cash flow, like $20-$50, you will take it, but then maybe refinance it later if rates come down, something like that.
Yeah, and to that point, that's why like going up that Huntsville meeting kind of made it more clear to me. Yeah, if you factored in all of your pro forma expenses, 10% maintenance, putting some reserves for CapEx, all that stuff, and if it's $50 cash flow, I'd probably still do it.
Okay.
If it's that tight, you might want to up your reserves a little bit.
Yeah.
But some people would turn it away if it's 100, 150. I'm just saying when it's a burr, you definitely wouldn't want to be there if you'd sunk $20,000 into it of cash.
That's right.
You wouldn't want to be that tight.
Yeah, it's like that cash you pull out, set whatever 25, $5,000 back in reserves and go do another one.
Yeah, true. Definitely wouldn't do it if I got money tied into it.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we're getting kind of close on time. We are always out here on the Facebook page. You can email us if other issues come up, because we're constantly looking for those and how to solve problems. I know another tool that's in the works, and I can't believe I didn't think of this years ago. I've said it to people for years. It just never hit me that, hey, we need a tool for that, is the what I call it, Parker, the flip hold tool.
Yeah.
If people are building a portfolio, very often they're going to do a few flips to build up some cash, and then they're going to hold a deal. But it's different for everyone's case, depending on how profitable the deals are, how much cash flow you need, and things like that. So one tool that's in the works is going to be one where you can plug in your specific numbers, and then you kind of see, do you need to do 3 flips and a hold, or are they profitable enough? You can do a flip one, hold one, flip one, hold one. So we're going to work out a tool there that will help you see what that ratio is between how many flips you need to do to every hold, because we know it's the ones that you hold that build the wealth, not the ones that we sell. So that one's coming up in the future. Before we wrap up, reviews on Google are definitely a help, and we're glad to help review anyone else. For everyone that's worked with us or heard about us and has gotten value out of working with us, this QR code right here will lead you to our Google review page. So please take a moment to go there and leave us a great review if we've helped you out, and send us back your link, and we'll be glad to leave you guys a review. Next, as I promised on one of the earlier slides, all the previous recordings and tools and everything is on this Inner Circle webpage. This QR code right here will lead you to that webpage. It's all free content there to help. The joining the REI Funding Partners Facebook group, there's a link to do that on that page as well. That's the one we were talking about earlier, to get in and swap deals, swap ideas, swap pitfalls. You can find us on Facebook at reifundingpartners.com. We love to post things like this down here to give a shout out to people. If you're following us on that Facebook page, and we can actually tag you and help promote you in that. So if we can help sell your house that you've rehabbed, if you're putting a tenant in it, if we can help do that, promotions are always good. So we're glad to promote. But again, you got to be following us on the page, or it won't even show your name up on the list. So we're glad to help with that. And again, this QR code leads you to the Inner Circle webpage for all the previous content. And that's it. We're going to get back together on the second Monday, back to our normal second Monday, October. It is 5 p.m. Central Time. Rick, I saw you pop in a little bit ago. I know you're Eastern Time in Chattanooga, so I don't know if that kind of time throws you off there, but just wanted to make sure everyone's aware it's 5 Central Time.
Yeah, I saw it. I put an alarm, but I had another Zoom meeting for the training of the software. So I was in that one with my REI. So I couldn't come earlier.
Gotcha. Well, glad you could tune in for part of it. If you missed the how to use the tool at the beginning of it.
Yes, I'll go to see the recording.
Yeah, we'll get the recording there. It's especially if you're doing flips, it's really important to be able to plan ahead when those will cash out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Anyone got anything else before we turn it off? I'm really excited to see this 6 steps all come together. It makes a great complete program. We're going to continue refining it, but we're already having people using these steps and getting success. And so we just want to keep expanding that. Help more people find financial freedom, what it's all about. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Let me just stop the recording and yeah.